Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear it?
Alright, how much is it?
And then for, everyone had a discussion about it, so. Yeah, cause like, they've already been assigned.
And you're wearing purple?
I almost
We're behind every week on
I
it.
feel like we only
So
brought.
that people don't feel like it's already been decided. But this is kind of like when we had the community set up, it's like a slate, and we can discuss it.
I don't know.
Any like, a group that they didn't get.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
An issue with anything, we just bring it up at the community.
Yeah, not right now.
That's their issue, right, not
Yeah,
now.
okay, so I don't really want to like a whole discussion on like reassign liaisons, like.
Yeah,
okay.
because
Yeah.
we also don't want.
Nice sweater, Carl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we will just sit down here.
Okay.
He folds up himself.
All right. You're for your position. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna assume we'll be in our same spot, so.
How are you? Yeah. Were you with Samantha? Did I send you anything? No, I didn't. No. Those are the best pictures.
I know, my dad just got it from me. My other one,
Just wait.
Is it the one that goes?
You guys got mine.
If you put that in a hot car, the ice will not melt.
Really? Why do you have these? Good to know.
Well, like, it'll melt a little bit. It'll, like, you can still, like, shake it. What's gonna happen?
Mark, what looks more professional? Jacket on, jacket off.
Tie. Oh my. Oh, okay. Oh, in that case.
No, that's why I listened in the first place. You're welcome. Thank you. Whoever grabbed you. Excuse me.
Right, you're definitely.
Yep. So I know that you said that if you want to bring about a number for, that's what I think that is the number 32. For the 32.
People almost never
want to discuss No. So you can mention all the numbers.
I have a test tomorrow, that's why
If you think kind of like some will pass and some won't, or like if there's discussion on that, then you can go with this role. Okay, thanks. Yep.
It's
very hot. It's very hot.
I just got it, sorry.
Okay.
Trying to heal you.
Lesson.
Do we have? Annika, could you do me a huge favor and grab me the papers that are over there? I forgot to do that, but I'm kind of trapped.
So official. Now I can see everybody in there.
No. Thank you so much.
Take one of each of these and pass it on. Yeah, that happened to a couple of them. Here's the other one.
My bad. I'll look over.
Well, the one that you got, you also got section.
Look at that. There's a new copy of the SR.
So, emailed ones, or you can get rid of my old.
Sorry, but I amended.
Hey, Alex, we spent money. You're fine, bro. It's just fun. That's your version?
Basically, it's just grammar check.
I'm sorry, I'll change it for the actual.
Did Miller just go somewhere?
So as the rest of the senator seats are filled, will some of these?
Hey, Craig, grammar check this week. Hey, okay, so. Five. I'll talk to you.
Alright.
All right. I call this meeting to order at 8:02 on Monday, October 10th, 2016. Can I get a roll call, please?
President Doxey, Vice President Macy,
Present.
Chair McCollum, Treasurer Gabe, Treasurer Hatfield, President, Senator Brown,
Present.
Senator Beneke,
Present.
Senator Young,
Present.
Senator Funk,
Present.
Senator Carlo. You were here. Okay, I see. Senator Lodge.
Here.
Senator Winter. Here. Senator Dubinsky. Here. Senator Dornowski.
Here.
Senator Conrad. Senator Sanchez.
Present.
Senator Kumar. Here. Senator Garner.
President.
Senator Emeka. Present. Senator Vincent.
Present.
Senator Tobias.
Here.
Senator Clark. Present. Senator Vanovich. Present.
Here.
I didn't have my hand, sorry. Roll call.
Thank you. Opening devotion. I don't think I assigned anyone last week. Did I forget that? Since I did not, I will just give you a little bit of wisdom. A little precautionary tale. I have recently come over with an illness. Please stay healthy. Keep yourself healthy. Hydrate with water. Get enough sleep. I know a lot of midterms are coming up if you haven't had them already, so it's important at this time of the year, especially a lot going on, to stay healthy. So please take the extra time to keep yourselves healthy. That's all I have. You have to excuse my voice for tonight. Do I have any senators who are willing to give the devotion for next week? Any senators? It's like pulling teeth. Come on. I'll do it. Thank you, Senator Funk. All right. Moving on then to forum of concerns. Does anybody in the audience want to give a small presentation of why you're here tonight?
Just a quick comment, you are being recorded. This is the last time I say anything, but if you would just help me out and stand in the middle, if you want to address the Senate so that you can be captured.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Abby. I'm the Executive Chair of the Honor Council, and today I have our proposal for a new first penalty amendment that we're proposing. So you've received a copy of our proposal, and I'll stick around later for your discussion, answer questions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And as you said, yeah, we will be discussing some of the changes that Honor Council is looking. They just kind of are looking for some Senate expertise on a couple of things. So, a good discussion for later. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion approved.
Second. All those in favor, please say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions, great. Agenda's approved. Senators' reports. Anybody have anything they'd like to share in the past week?
I think Friday is live station content. You guys want to come to that?
Great. Thank you, Senator Sanchez. Anybody else? Senator Garner?
Yeah, I actually meant to share this last week. I'm a part of College Democrats, and on Wednesdays, sometimes we do phone banking, so if anybody's interested in
helping out for that. We're college Republicans, I'm sure they do some things, but we do some campaigning for the Evan By John Gray campaign. And we knock on doors, we do phone banking, so if anybody's interested, it'd be great. Susan By, wife of Evan By, was there last weekend as well, and she was there to support us, and she just wanted to make sure, I told her that I was in the student senate, and she just wanted to make sure that we're actively getting people engaged in voting, whatever system they wish to. So that's just something I wanted to throw out to see.
Thank you, Senator Garner. The other senators have reports for tonight? All right then. Moving on, advisors' reports. Thank you. Officer reports, President Zaki.
All right, good evening, everyone. Position myself. So yes, thank you. Welcome, Abby. That's something that we will do later tonight with the discussion. So I advise you, if you can take a few moments and look over that page, that will be very helpful. This month is Cyber Awareness Month that the IT department is kind of campaigning for students to be aware of their activity online and how they can be proactive against cyber attacks. And so they've asked me to share the Cyber Citizen Pledge. So with the minutes from tonight's meeting, I'll include the link to read the pledge, and you can sign it if you so choose. But they just kind of want as many students as possible to be aware of that information. So I'll send that out. So if you're not familiar, the Student Senate every year puts on a discount card for student and faculty use. I believe faculty as well, yes, for just kind of Valparaiso University people to use for local vendors. So we ask for somebody to chair that committee, and the committee goes from business to business and either renews a contract with a particular organization, or they ask to join onto the card. So if you're interested in that, I'd like for you to contact me, preferably if you have a car, or if you don't have a car, but hopefully someone in the committee does. That would be very helpful, because you will be visiting local organizations. So if you're interested, you can either let me know now by raising your hand, or if you have questions, you could do that now. Yeah.
Must you be do you have to have at least a semester of being a senator as we did for the committees?
Yes, very good question. I don't think so. Brandy is shaking her head, so she'll check. She's kind of our interim parliamentarian. So if not, would you be interested, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And last year we had a very good chair, Avery Davis, so he has left us with a lot of material to use, so you're not starting from scratch in terms of template letters and things like that that you can use to reach out. And yeah, do you have a question?
What's the time commitment for that?
So the current card expires January 1st. So the committee would have to meet to discuss how much they would like to work from now until, I guess, the month of December, where it would need to be done. So they can decide if you would like to spend a weekend and hit up all of the different, restaurants in the area. I think it really depends on how you'd like to spread up the time. But we're bringing it up now because it would probably need a considerable amount of time to submit the order and that kind of stuff. Does that help? Okay. And then the last thing is, I just want to remind you, while you are working, because we are well into the semester, while you're engaging with students via email and online from your committees or just as senators, just remember to keep email etiquette. I know that that's kind of a no-brainer for you guys, but just to remind you that when you're sending emails on behalf of the Student Senate, you are representing much more than just yourself. And so just remember that you're representing all of us when you do that. And no particular reason, just as a reminder, because now we're well in and we all have different positions and titles. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Zaki. Moving on to my report, a couple things. We discussed this with all the committee chairs already, but we are asking for committees to have set due dates for all major things that require organizations' attention, such as budgeting deadlines, re-recognition deadlines. We're asking for those dates to be set by October 17th, which is 1 week from today, so we can put together that calendar. So hopefully already just started discussion in your committees about those. If not, please do that in the coming week. Also, regarding SRs, this is a reminder that when we are presenting SRs, the initial presentation is just the senator who's presenting the SR is just reading aloud the SR. The time for discussion and questions is more for the next meeting, so that we're not over discussing something and bringing things up multiple times. Just for efficiency, we will just do the formal presentation for the first meeting, and then the second meeting that the SR is present, then we will do more discussion on that then. So just keep that in mind. Also for the SR that's being presented tonight for vote, it's going to need a 3/4 vote to pass. If you're wishing to make amendments to the SR, it's a 2/3, I believe is what the Constitution or the bylaws say. So 2/3 to amend and 3/4 to pass. So keep that in mind as well. Also, if you are considering bringing about an SR to the floor of Senate, please, we're asking that you bring it to the executive meeting first. There are a lot of kind of like small nitpicky things that go into SRs, and the executive committee has a lot of insight and knowledge into how to address those. So just for efficiency's sake and making things more clear, we're asking that you please bring all SRs to the executive committee before presenting them to the floor. That's all I have. So moving on, parliamentarian is still vacant, and so secretary's report.
Just quickly, make sure you leave your name tags here, or your name cards here at the end of the meeting. I'll just collect them and bring them to the next one. Does anyone have any misspellings or is everything good? Good? Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Secretary Topol. Public Relations Coordinator.
Just really quickly, all freshmen stay behind because I lost all your pictures, so I had to retake them. And Micah, Andrea, Noah, and Julian, I need to see you also to take pictures. That's it.
Thank you. Executive Assistant Treasurer Gabe and Hatfield.
How are you guys all doing on this Monday? Just a little motivation, if you want to be the card chair, you get $50 for that. So we're all college kids, I know how you think. So your time is not going to be just appreciated by everybody. You will make a little money for dedicating your time to a good reason. So for those of you who are not in an org or aren't most likely the president of an org with access to the email, emails went out last night regarding tons of information, and I'm going to share that with you all so you're aware. I included the link again requesting contact information. For orgs that haven't submitted it, I've just found their overall org email and included them in the email to make sure at least somehow it's getting to them, since I don't have each member's information. In nice big and bold print, I made everyone aware that stipend deadline is next Monday. This shouldn't be an issue. People that are stipended orgs, those are super easy requests to fill out. If there's any issues, they should be able to contact me between now and then without any issues. And just gave them a little bit more detail about that in case there's new people doing it that aren't aware. I also shared, again, just a reminder for you guys, all semester requests, so second semester stipends, encumbrance requests, and line item shifts are all due December 5th. This is so that we have time to address any issues that need to come to the Senate floor, so I can complete requests with Clayton and not be doing all of them while we're all taking finals. Another thing I did address was a reminder of the name change. I think that had happened last year and not every org understood that or was aware of it. So hopefully that'll clarify a couple things with submitting documentation and who needs to submit budgets this semester and whatnot. So maybe that'll ease things next semester as well. I did include in here that there are some orgs I reached out to with this information that need to be re-recognized, that have contacted me, that either missed it last semester or something happened and they need to be re-recognized before the spring as a tier 3 org. So I included the admin email on there, so if you get anything about that, that's my fault. Good luck. I did include second semester deadlines. So you all probably don't really care about those dates yet, but they are in here. The reason and justification for doing this so early is so I can include it in every email I send, so there's no excuse for any organizations to turn requests in late next semester. We had a significant amount of people, for those of you who don't know, turn requests in on the deadline, after the deadline, and all summer long. And that was very frustrating, not just for me, but for Dean Jenkins in the finance office. It's my summer break too. I'll be working all summer. I'm not going to be doing Senate requests, to be completely honest with you guys, and I'm sure Clayton doesn't want to either. So that is going to be, there's going to be a hard deadline next year. We are going to accommodate, obviously, for organizations hosting events towards the end, just like we do for the end of December. But there will be a hard deadline, so you guys are aware of that now, so that that is clearly spread to organizations throughout this year. I do not want any miscommunications between Senate and organizations. There cannot be any misunderstandings this year. So I really need it to be clear with you all, if you have any questions. There will be a hard deadline set. The deadline set already for requests is going to be April 10th. Anything occurring after that, they have to individually contact me for. If it's not addressed or I can't get an understanding, we'll deal with it then. Anything after May is not going to be covered because they've had an extensive amount of time to have submitted documentation, and that's just pushing it too far and too close to the end of the fiscal year. So if anybody has questions or concerns about that, please feel free to let me know. If not now, later, whatever works. Yeah.
When was this email sent out?
Last night. Late. So it should have showed up in your inbox nice and early this morning.
And did you send that out to the club email, or was it the?
It went to the club email. Yeah, so that's something else I've been working on with Nora's help, updating the student organization list. We're finding some issues with it as we go. Any orgs I know have an issue, I've sent it to them specifically to their club organization email. If I'm aware of it, if I'm not, I've contacted somebody to get someone's personal email address. If you know somebody that hasn't gotten it, it says in the email, please forward it to them and CC me in the email so I can make sure I get in touch with them, add them to the org list, and get their contact information updated. I'm still trying to get everybody's information updated in their individual budgets too. So if anybody tells you like, hey, our information in our budget's wrong, I'm getting there. There's a lot of them, and I have to individually change everybody's names and the permissions for who can see them. So if that's a question that comes up, there's your answer. If you have any other questions or if you want a copy of the email, just let me know, because I know you guys don't get it sent to your personal email. Is this something you would want to be sent to your guys' email addresses for reference? I'm seeing heads shaking. Is anyone opposed to this?
All of them, that way.
I can send it to you guys personally. I cannot send this to every single student. Not every student is in an organization, and not every student is in a position to need to worry about all of this.
President of the organization as well?
Yeah, so it's sent to the organization email. We try and avoid putting personal emails because when transitions occur, I have to figure out who graduated, who transitioned, and we're in the middle of October and I still don't have every org's contact information. So that's kind of my dilemma with doing that. So I want to stick with org emails. Presidents should be checking their org emails anyways. They have it for a reason, that's my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to let me know, but I have no problem including all of you on that. That can be changed as Senate changes. So is that a unanimous yes, you would like to be included? Okay, if you really don't want to see it, I guess you can just hit delete. But this is all information you guys should be aware of. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? Okay, then I'm just going to share something cool so at the bottom of my email, under all of this long and really dry information, I asked students that made it that far in my email to reply with something like a joke or something cool their org has done. And surprisingly, I got some really good emails back for a Monday morning. So at 7:15 this morning, in case anyone was wondering, Gabe from the Ultimate Frisbee team replied to me. He was enthusiastic. It was great. But he wanted to share that the guys team played a number of competitive games against teams from big D1 schools like IU, U of M, and Wisconsin, and beat some of them to finish above par. And the women's team made history by beating similar competition and winning the whole thing. He also asked, what do you call one pair of socks that follows around another pair of socks? Nora laughed. I think she almost died because she's sick. Stocking. It's stocking, guys. See some humor on a Monday. Also, VU Robotics replied back and said they were very excited to announce that they were accepted to present at TEDx. So those of you going, keep an eye out for that. Give them a congratulations. That's a really big deal, and they were very excited to share that this week. Also, if you know anybody that's getting these emails that may have graduated and they just don't want to reply to me, let me know, because some people are not happy about it. And APO wanted to share VU Theater opened its first show of the season, Mr. Burns, this past weekend. They have 3 more shows next weekend, Friday at 8, Saturday and Sunday at 2. The show features 8 of their members and 4 of their new recruits on cast and crew. They're very excited about the production and how hard their people have worked to bring it to stage. So you all should make an appearance there and go support. I know we have some people here in it, so it would be good if you guys could show up and enjoy. I heard it's fantastic. So after all of that, if you have any questions, let me know. And that's it.
Thank you, Executive Treasurer Kate. Moving on to committee reports, Executive Committee.
I just have 2 things. So one, the executive committee is looking for a new time so that we have more than just half an hour to meet. So there is a doodle that Micah sent out with the executive committee minutes. So if you could fill that out, I believe 2 or 3 people have done that. So the rest of you, please do that. And then something fun, I ran, like Dr. Hunter mentioned, I was happy to run in the torch relay for the Indiana Bicentennial this past weekend, and it was really fun. And Mark was there, being the photographer and running around too. I didn't know you were like on foot for some of it, so yeah, so that was fun on behalf of all of you. So, and also I heard EJ was very good in the play. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Administration Committee.
Just a few short things. So you all got the list of all your liaison organizations. There are a few doubles on there, but those will be corrected in an email tonight. So don't have to worry about that. But for this week, it would be great if you could at least send a first contact email and try to ask them like when their regular meetings are, if they have any events coming up and things like that, and just start to develop that relationship with your orgs. And I think that's pretty much it.
Moving, and on that note, do you have any questions regarding liaison apportionment, any like concerns as to who you got assigned? I'm sure Senator Binsky or anyone on the administration committee would be glad to field those questions. So feel free to.
Yeah, you can email me or the admin email.
Great. So keep that in mind as well. And of course, liaisons will likely be reapportioned in the coming weeks as we get more senators rolling in.
So if this is any sort of like encouragement, every senator that you recruit and bring on, 4 senators will lose one of their orgs that they have to take care of. So invite your friends. Lose some responsibility.
Thank you.
Oh, and one more thing, sorry. Also, when you do reach out to your org, save the correspondence, just in case the SR does go through, you'll need a correspondence to show that you have made contact and things. So just don't delete the emails, just hang on to those for now.
Thank you, Senator Winter.
Good.
Finance Committee.
All right, the Finance Committee has 2 things. I guess first, Tier 3 budgets will be due on December 11th. So look through your organizations if you have any.
November.
November 11th. November 11th. Correction, November 11th. It will be presented on the 28th and voted on the 5th, which is the last meeting we will have before winter break. So if you do have any Tier 3 organizations, please email them as personally as well. Include that. You should be able to find that on the list on the Senate website. Second, we have a line item shift request from Criminology Club. They want to move $100 from visiting a correctional facility to 3 different lines, all of which are on campus and open to students. The first being policing the police, $10. That's an event they're having. discussion panel, $10, and movie night for $80. And so, and Finance Committee voted 5-0-0 on that.
Is there any discussion on this line item shift? Okay. Then we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor of Criminology Club's line item shift, $100 from Visit Correctional Facilities to Policing the Police, discussion panel, and movie night, please raise your hand if you are in favor. Great. Opposed? And abstentions? All right. The request passes 17-0-0. Thank you. Is there anything else? Great. Thank you, Senator Conrad. Committee on Media.
The only thing I have is that we're meeting this Wednesday at 4 in Schnabel.
Thank you. Screening Committee.
Very quickly, we're going to be sending out a reminder about the applications that are due next week, and yet due before Monday, October 17th. So please just let your friends know if you know anyone who might be interested in any of the positions. Again, the open positions, we have 1 international senator seat, 2 junior senator seats, 2 senior senator seats, and 1 parliamentarian. And it's really important we get all of them filled, particularly since the admin committee might need to reshuffle some of the liaisons, and we want everyone to get in touch with organizations before budgeting season starts and all that stuff. And we're going to be scheduling interviews with all the people who applied for 2 weeks from now. So we're probably going to give them around 1 week to fill out the doodle poll or whatever we'll be sending out. And then we'll have interviews in 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that by the beginning of November, the end of October, we can have names to present for all the positions that we have open. But yeah, just let your friends know about the positions and we'll be sending out a reminder. Any questions about any of that? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mecca. Committee on Residents.
We're meeting tomorrow in the campaign room with the union.
Great, thank you.
7 p.m. Sorry.
7 p.m. Okay then, moving on from committee reports to old business, SR1 FA 2016.
Okay, so bear with me, we gotta read through it the second time. Whereas Bylaw 16, Clause 9 of the most current version of the Senate Master Bylaws reads that all senators are required to be liaison to 1 or more student organizations at the discretion of the Administration Committee, and whereas it also reads that all senators shall keep in correspondence with their designated organizations on at least a monthly basis, and whereas we find the structure and these qualifications fail to accurately paint a picture of what the liaison program was intended to be, and whereas we find that the requirements listed in our bylaws fail to properly require action on part of student senators to initiate and maintain contact with the liaison organizations. So let it be resolved that the following 3 new clauses be added to the end of Bylaw 16. Clause J, each senator shall be required to attend at least 2 of their assigned liaison organizations meetings per semester. Clause K, each senator shall be required to make at least 1 report at the General Assembly meeting post attending each one of their liaisons meetings in order to inform the Senate on the health and ongoing activities of their organization. In Clause L, each senator shall be required to either make contact with or meet with an executive member of the liaison organizations at some point prior to budgeting in order to make clear all their wishes and concerns before allocation of funds. If they receive no response from their organization, the senator will be expected to provide proof of attempted contact, example text or email, to the chair of the Administration Committee before the budgeting meeting.
Is there any discussion on this bylaw?
Yep.
I have some amendments that I'd like to present.
Okay.
Should I move to the front of the room?
You can
Or?
present.
Oh, okay. So Clause J in the original version reads, each senator shall be required to attend at least 2 of their assigned liaison organizations meetings per semester. I like to amend that to read, each senator shall be required to attend at least 2 meetings of their liaison organizations per semester, just a grammatical change. Clause K,
we all have it in front of us, I won't reread it. Each senator shall, the new version, each senator shall be required to make a report at a General Assembly meeting after attending a meeting of one of their liaison organizations pursuant to Clause J, in order to keep the Senate informed as to the health and ongoing activities of said organization. That's Clause K, and then that's also just a grammatical change pretty much, and then Clause I, same thing. Each senator shall be required to either make contact with or meet with an executive member of their liaison organizations at some point prior to budgeting in order to fully understand all of the wishes and concerns of the organizations before the allocation of funds is decided. If they receive no response from the organizations, the senator will be expected to provide proof of attempted contact to the chair of the administration committee, that's capitalized, before the budgeting meeting is held. And that's the extent of my amendments.
Okay.
Is there a motion to make those amendments?
Move to amend.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there discussion on that amendment now?
I have one thing. So what was the change to Clause J that you're proposing?
Clause J will now read, each senator shall be required to attend at least 2 meetings of their liaison organizations per semester.
Okay.
Just changing the language of it.
Is there any other discussion? Senator Latch?
I like having the specification of liaison because the amendment just says their organization, that could be like.
It does say their liaison.
Excuse me,
organization.
Senator Banky.
Yes.
Senator Latch, can you please speak up when you're addressing the Senate?
That, like, if it doesn't say liaison, what is that? I don't know, I think it would be good that if Clause J said liaison organization.
The liaison organization language is retained.
Is there more discussion?
I just have a question, of clarification.
Yes, Senator Brown?
For Clause K. So it says make at least one report for each of the meetings?
Mm-hmm.
So would you be making like 2 separate reports?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. So you go to a meeting on, say, a Wednesday, then the next Monday you make a report, and then like another week if you go to a meeting, you make a report. It doesn't have to be anything long, just be like, they met, they talked about this, they have these events coming up.
Senator Mecca?
How are we going to deal with senators who just come on, so maybe people come in at the beginning of November, or sometime later on in the semester?
There'll be signing liaison organizations, and if they're unable to make it to 2 meetings before the end of the year, like if there aren't 2 meetings, I'm sure that we'll be able to deal with that. Like in the same way that we make exceptions for budgeting if they have an event later on, kind of thing.
Senator Minsky?
I would say in addition to that, everyone has already been assigned one of those, so by November, they should have at least had 1 contact and 1 meeting attended. So then at that point, if that org has already had that contact and it's just shifted to somebody else, it won't be that big of a deal to just have them do 1 meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, I was just gonna, kind of going off what he just said, or Senator Dubinsky just said, maybe if you had just said 2 meetings per semester, because somebody should always be a liaison, whether or not there's, depending on the number of senators. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
That might, I don't know if that would clear up any issues people might have later on.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Senator Donarski?
Don't we technically have an amendment on the floor to vote on first?
Yeah, we have 3 actually. They need to be talked about individually.
Well, the amendment was, it was 1 amendment.
One amendment.
One slated amendment.
One
Okay.
slide amendment.
Should we vote on that then?
Is there any more discussion on this amendment? All right. All those in favor of the amendment to SR 1 FA 2016 proposed by Senator Banky, please raise your hand. Okay. Opposed? And abstentions? 11-6-0, the amendment fails. Moving on to discussion on the proposed SR. Senator Mika?
Like I said last week, I think this is going to be good for us because it's going to make sure that we have additional information when we are discussing budgets or any other thing. Because I know some of the problems we've had in the past is that some senators don't have enough information about the organizations they're supposed to be representing. So when questions come up, we don't have anyone who is able to answer them. But I think this will help us with that. So I think it's a good SR.
Senator Mika? Is there any other points of discussion to discuss? Yeah.
Yeah, last year during budgeting, I remember there were a lot of times when people were asking a question about organizations and we were wanting to try to open the floor to the people in the forum of concerns because nobody actually knew about the organization. And additionally, most of the organizations didn't even know who the liaison was. When we did re-recognition, I think there were maybe like 5 organizations total out of over 100 who actually knew who their liaison was. So clearly the system we have right now doesn't work. Something needs to be changed. I feel like this will be a better way for the Senate as a whole to get more involved on campus and get to know their organization so that they can accurately have a voice in budgeting and in Senate in general.
So with this new SR, will at the end of the year we be turning in a bunch of different documentation of our visits or something, or is it more of just
I think the only things that were required were just like an email that you actually made contact, so just forward that or CC EJ on that. And then that's the only documentation that's really required, and then you just have to get the reports. So that's all you gotta do as far as that goes.
Is there any other discussion on this SR?
So, why is this not being grammatically correct here? Why was that? Someone might know why that was voted against. I voted against it.
Senator Donarski?
because we all get what it's saying already? Wasn't
If
much.
it should be correct, why would we choose to be more incorrect?
Can you point out what was grammatically incorrect, like from a grammar standpoint specifically? Go ahead.
In Clause J, when it refers to assigned liaison organizations, that is singular.
It's possessive. The liaison organizations meetings, it's their meetings.
It'd be an apostrophe after the S.
Okay. Would we like to open the floor to,
Motion to open the floor.
is there a second?
Second.
You?
Point of clarification, you guys want to make sure these are as specific and accurate as possible, so if they're ever debated or questioned in the future, you have them exactly as you want them. Just a reminder.
Is there any other discussion on this SR?
If you guys would like to table this for a week, we can, and we can just go through and fix apostrophes being one space off, if that really is what you guys think we should be doing.
Yes.
Instead of wasting another week with the old liaison program where we're not actually going to correspond with the organizations. It's up to you guys, though, if you want to vote to table.
Is there any such motion or any other discussion? Is there a second?
Again?
Second, all right. All those in favor of tabling this SR for a week, please raise your hand. Opposed? And abstentions? All right, the motion fails. 213-1. Is there any additional discussion on SR 1FA 2016? Senator Mika?
I guess the substance of what it's saying is clear, and it makes sense that it's going to be beneficial to both students and all the organizations. And I think the grammar it's clear as well. I mean, like some people could have a different opinion as to how it could be phrased, but I think it's clear enough that anyone could understand essentially what we're trying to get at. So I don't think that should constitute a problem for us.
Senator Donarski?
Can we open the floor to our advisors?
If there is an alternative parliamentary procedure you could use here, if he was so willing, Senator Winter could accept the grammatical changes, if they are in fact simple grammatical changes, as a friendly amendment. Then you wouldn't have to debate it, you wouldn't have to table it, you would just accept it as a friendly amendment, and then you move on. If you think, however, it's gonna change the substance of what you're trying to get at here, then you shouldn't do that, okay? But if it really is just simple grammatical kind of changes, you could accept those if you wanted to, as a friendly amendment.
Okay. Do you have the changes? Oh, okay. Feel free to continue to discuss while I look this over real quick.
As he looks over those proposed amendments, is there any more discussion involving this SR?
Motion to vote.
Okay. Senator Winter, are you?
Give me just 1 second. Is there any other discussion or no?
Is there a motion to end discussion?
Motion to end discussion.
All right. Those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Great.
Then I'll accept the friendly amendment as well.
The friendly amendment is made to the SR. The grammatical corrections that Senator Benke had suggested will be instituted. That being said, since there is no more discussion, all those in favor of the amended SR, please raise your hand. Opposed? And abstentions? Great, the SR passes 16-0-0. Thank you, Senator Winter.
I'm going to keep this to change it real quick.
Right, moving on to new business. We have an honor council discussion. I'm going to give everybody just a couple minutes to look over the sheet that they were given at the beginning of the meeting. And after those couple of minutes, we will go into discussion. And we generally don't open the floor to audience members, as that's kind of it's not really a procedure that Senate involves. But since this is more of a friendly discussion and not a voting matter per se, I think we will be more willing to open the floor to any clarifications or situations that our guests would like to provide. So please take a couple minutes to look over the sheet that you're provided with. Everybody's had time to at least glance over, and then invite Abby to come down and give some more insight as to the kind of suggestions that she's looking for, and the kind of discussion that she's hoping to have about this.
Hi again. So yeah, I guess I'll just start with kind of what we're looking for with this, I'll sum up what our proposal is, and then I can just answer questions from you guys. So our proposal is to change the current first standard penalty from an F in the course to a 0 on the assignment and then an additional like third letter grade deduction at the end of the semester. And so our reason for doing that is we're trying to give students more of a learning curve, so that, you know, incoming students, international students who are still getting used to this kind of system can have a chance to learn that we're serious about it without completely derailing their college career. And so we're proposing this amendment to our members, and we propose it to Faculty Senate. We want to present it to you guys, and then we'll present it to all of campus, and we're looking for feedback for how you guys feel about it, concerns and or positive remarks you have for it. So, answer any questions or concerns you guys have. Yes?
Have you considered whether or not this would increase the likelihood of someone breaking the honor code because of them realizing I might not get such a harsh penalty?
Yeah, so someone intentionally, well, yeah, thinking this is like a freebie. Yeah, so we have talked about that. So when we were discussing what the lesser penalty should be, we talked about just a 0 on the assignment, but then we added that like third letter grade deduction at the end of the semester, so it still kind of has a bit of a sting to it, even if someone cheats on like a 5-point homework assignment, which isn't going to really affect their grade at all. So we have that, and then there's also like, so that goes on the record if they're found guilty of that. And then the second, if they're found guilty again for a second violation, it goes to our standard second violation, which is suspension. So we still have that steep penalty that we have now. Yeah, that answers your question.
Are there any questions, additional comments, Abby, about this?
Would this at all, I know you just kind of addressed it right now, but would this different penalty be able to be applied to the second violation as well? Because there would be instances where someone would, like, for instance, like cite a paper wrong, I think it says that somewhere in here, would cite a paper wrong first offense, and then maybe in a different class cite it differently. Like, and if like one class is Chicago, one class is MLA, for instance, I don't know if that's the case here, but if maybe they cite it differently and they get sent to Honor Council both times for that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So currently, the way our system is, the panel is not supposed to know whether it's a first violation or second violation. They're just supposed to judge it based on what happened and the circumstances surrounding it, and then judge like guilty, not guilty based upon that. However, we do have clauses in our Constitution that allow the panel to deviate from the standard penalty. They can either decrease or increase the penalty as they see necessary.
Okay.
Any other suggestions, questions?
Yes?
I just feel like there's a big gap between getting a 0 and a third reduction in your grade to being suspended from the university into violations. And I know it's probably not easy unless you're cheating. You're obviously be caught by Honor Council and found guilty, but I feel like there's a big gap between those two. So how is that like determined to keep the second violation the same, even though there's such a gap then from the first?
So that's kind of how it is now. There's a big gap between like your first violation, your second violation, and your third violation. So I don't know if everyone's familiar, but your third violation, you get expelled. So it's pretty serious. The reason we lowered the first penalty and only the first penalty is, well, for one, this is pretty a big monumental change. The Honor Council's been this way, I think, since they started. So we don't want to change the entire thing right off the bat in case it doesn't work. But like I said earlier, we want to give students a learning curve or learning opportunity so that they know that like we're serious about like how we handle cheating here, and like we don't tolerate it without completely derailing their career.
Was there any consideration to like add something in between like the first and second of like, I mean, because before it was you got added in the course, so like I think that's closer to what the second and third would be. So maybe if you had like what's currently the first and then add like your second violation, you just get an F in your course versus like a third grade reduction before you like go to suspension. I don't know, just something that I would.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my thought would be adding another level that the honor council could direct it to. So if it's a smaller offense, like misciting a paper or something like that, then it could be like almost like a misdemeanor type thing, where you'd still be able to preserve the current system for the more egregious offenses, but for the smaller things, you'd be able to use this new punishment as more of a default.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, and there's some universities that have those kind of like tiers, I guess, where like these kind of offenses get these penalties, these offenses get these penalties, etc. So that's kind of a big jump in like complication, I guess. We kind of liked this idea because it's a lower penalty, but the panel has the option to increase the penalty if they think it's necessary. So a 0 on the assignment kind of adjusts for the seriousness of the violation. If you like cheat on a homework assignment, that's just a couple points or a percentage of your grade. It's a lot less of a penalty than if you cheat on your final.
And it would go on your transcript as a first honor code violation.
Yeah, I think the registrar does that.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the indication on your transcript is.
Okay. I feel like, go ahead. please.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think it's a great proposal, and I'm glad that you guys went into it and sort of looked at it and really figured out that there were some gray areas that weren't being addressed, so thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I think so long as the panel has like the option to deviate from it, then I don't see anything wrong with what's proposed.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great proposal as well. I think there needs to be some leniency for those who learn from their mistakes, and there needs to be, I don't think the punishment should be too severe because people do make mistakes over time. So I think that is a very good thing that we decided to do.
Thank you.
One concern that I would have is that having a smaller punishment would make the council, I don't know, vote for guilty more often than they would under the previous system. I don't know if that's founded or not. But one thing that I think would be kind of sad is if one person got an honor code violation on their transcript because they did something regarding a homework assignment, whereas someone cheated on a final and got the same notation on their transcript. It seems like there should be a little bit of differentiation between the two, so that, because I'm assuming that these would be going to an employer later on, and it feels like cheating on a final would be a lot worse than cheating on vocab words for Spanish or something like that.
Right, and the current system we have now where it doesn't matter if you cheat on, not accidentally, like we have a process for that. But if you cheat on a small assignment or if you cheat on a big assignment, you're all kind of put in the same boat, and yeah, that same kind of mark's going to be on your transcript. So yeah, it is an issue, but it's just the community we uphold here.
So you do have a process for like something would happen like accidentally kind of thing, like maybe you forgot to cite a source or something like that.
Yeah, that's, kind of the whole point of our honor council. That's why we deal with all accusations, so we have a extensive investigation and hearing process to make sure we found out what's really going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So punishments would be different in situations like that kind of thing, or you could deviate from the standard?
Yeah, the panel has the option to. We try to really limit what they deviate from because just to try to keep it kind of homogeneous throughout campus so that, because you have different panels with different members and they have different opinions and perceptions of things, so we try to limit how much, like the scope with which they can deviate so that it's kind of the same for everybody. Everyone's kind of getting the same chance when they're on trial or at a hearing.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think it's a really good proposal. I think the punishment would fit because if you get a 0 on a homework assignment, as opposed to getting a 0 on your final, I think obviously that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I also like how you don't change the second and third violations because it still keeps the seriousness and severity of the honor council. And people make mistakes or cite things wrong, but they learn and they know that if you do it again, something much worse will happen, so I think it's very good.
Are there any other comments on this? Okay. Thank you for bringing this, Abby. I hope you got some insight from some senators here.
That's great. Thank
some
you.
Potential changes you can bring about. So thank you for presenting this, though. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Then, if there's no other new business, Treasurer Gabe, yes?
Since we have no parliamentarian before we get one, the Senate doesn't have a copy of Robert's Rules of Order, which I think is something we should have as a governing body. So I'm going to look further into that and then be presenting that to get your guys' opinion, so just so you can start thinking about it now. If you agree with that or not, it's like $10 on buy. We have $10 in our budget. I feel like this would be beneficial to us, especially before budgeting season begins. Since we technically don't have a parliamentarian right now, they can't raise this issue, so it's a new business. So just think about that before next week.
Great. Thank you, Treasurer Gabe. If there's no other new business, then we move on to the formal concerns. Are there any other additional comments from our audience members? Thank you. Postmortem. Thank you for some good discussion tonight. It's appreciated. I'm sure it's appreciated by our guests. So thank you for that. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor, please say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, nay. Great. Meeting is adjourned.
Anyway, okay, so guys, we
Don't leave if I haven't taken your picture.
you guys, Mark, when the three of you email your organizations, either CC me or Lee CC me or